It's crowned girl time. It's crowned girl time.
Hey Crown Girls, it's your girl, Minister Tiffany Bryan here, and I am so excited to be back with you guys, to be revamped, really. So I thank you. Let me clap it up. Put my journal down. Let me clap it up. Thank you so much for everyone that subscribed to this channel, that has shared videos, that has commented, that has liked the video. I so appreciate you just showing your love and just being very genuine and there. So I just want to say thank you so much. Crowned Girl is revamped. I am back and I am pumped about today's message. If you can't already see by the title, today we're talking about the modern day Esther. And I'm going to tell you how this becomes modern day. But before that, I'm going to give you a backstory about who Esther is. She was basically raised by her cousin Mordecai. Mordecai raised Esther as his own. He took care of her because her father, Mordecai's uncle, had passed away. He wasn't there. So Mordecai said, you know what, I'm going to treat Esther as my own. And that's exactly what he did. When he told her to go into the beauty contest, he said, Esther, do this one thing. Do not disclose who you really are. Do not tell the king that you're a Jew, because if you tell him, there could be a punishment for you and your people. Don't say anything. And that's exactly what she did. Esther kept her mouth closed. So, the very first thing that we learn about is Queen Vashti and King Xerxes. We see that in this story that they had this like little spat because King Xerxes summoned King Vashti while at a banquet. And she said no. She said, I ain't coming. I ain't doing anything you want me to do because I'm staying with my girls. If we know anything about the times in the Old Testament, we knew that if you basically disrespected the king, you were summoned to death. That was your punishment, just because you did not do what he asked you to do. Now, how does this relate to Esther? Here we go. Because Queen Vashti basically disrespected her king and her husband, he said, you know what, fine. You don't want to do as I ask, I'll find somebody who will. Now, we can relate this to today's time. And we can say that, if you're not willing to put in as I'm putting in, then I can find someone who can put in. Friends or romantic relationships, anything. So he said, I'm going to find someone else who can do what I'm asking them to do. And he said, I'm going to hold a beauty contest. And that's exactly what he did. For an entire year, there were a few girls, including Esther at the time, that was in a beauty contest for an entire year. For 6 months, they got treatments or different pampering sessions for basically body hygiene. And then there were 6 months where they got perfume, anything that they wanted. The difference between Esther and the other girls was that Esther was given certain things that the other girls did not get. Esther was favored from the moment she walked into the king's palace. Now, let's fast forward to when Esther becomes queen. She was favored by the king. So the king liked her. He liked what he saw. Esther was a beautiful woman, a beautiful virgin girl. And he said, you know what? I want her. I want her as queen. And that's what he did. As time goes on, Mordecai is basically outside of the gates of the palace, basically making sure that Esther was well taken care of, making sure that she had everything that she needed, just being that watchful eye on the background, although he couldn't be there with her in the palace. One day he was at the gates and he was talking to the two guards that were there, and they had a conversation about basically killing the king. And it got back to the king through Esther because Mordecai told Esther to tell the king what his guards were planning. From there, Mordecai was able to build a relationship of trust with the king through Esther. How did Esther get favored? That's the real question that we want to know, right? From the very beginning, before Esther even walked into the palace, she was favored. She was covered for this particular job. God had given her a charge, although she did not know what it was. God had given her a charge to complete and to do, and she was favored for it. She did not have to tell the information. That's the same thing that God is telling us. I'm giving you a charge. I'm telling you to go do something. That does not mean you have to tell anybody the details of this charge. When I tell you to do something, go and do it. Go run for it because I favored you for it. I have covered you for it. I am covering your path to be able to do the charge that I have given you to do. And that's exactly what he did for Esther. So Mordecai came to Esther. He said, hey, Esther, there is a decree to kill all the Jews. All of them. Your people. They trying to kill your people. What you gonna do about it is basically what he said. And so she was like, well, I don't know, because I can't just go to the king and the king didn't summon me. I can't, just walk up and say, hey, hubby, can you cover my people? Because your right-hand man, Haman, done put out a decree to kill my people. She couldn't do that. She couldn't just walk up to him as what she thought. She thought she couldn't walk up to him. She thought that she couldn't get to the king because of the law. But what she didn't know is that before she walked into the palace, she was already favored.
She was already favored.
Mordecai kept saying, Esther, go to your husband, go to the king, tell him what's going on because I need your help. I need you to help me save our people. Because if you don't, my people, your people, will be saved by someone else, and you would never be saved from the decree. You would never be saved from being killed. You're in the palace for a reason, is basically what he's saying. You're there for a reason. So use your power, use your God-given power, because she was queen. Use your power and help me. Use your power and help me. Help your people. Because if you don't, your people will then be saved by someone else. But I've sent you for a reason. I've sent you to a place for a reason, because you can do it, because you're covered for it, because you're favored for it, because you're in the position of power. So Esther went to the king, and if I'm playing out the scene, she put on all of her royal clothing. She went to the king, and she just stood there until he extended his golden scepter to say, come on in. So he extended it to her. She came in, and she said, my king, if you find me favorable, please spare my life. She didn't tell him why she was asking him to spare her life. She just said, if you find me favorable. If. The king said to her, more than one occasion, whatever you need, tell me. I will give you that plus half the kingdom. Okay, wait. I'm sorry. I got to pause the video for a hot second. Got to ask a question. Are you watching this and you didn't subscribe? I figured. I paused the show because I want you to go ahead and subscribe. Go ahead. Right there. Go ahead and subscribe. I'm waiting on it. Go ahead. Okay. Back to the show. Esther required nothing extra. She didn't need anything else to show that she was called for this. Many people put on gimmicks to obtain the attention and respect of others, but Esther did not need to do that. She didn't. She didn't even have to ask. Esther had so much favor from God that the king said, what is it that you need? I will give it to you and half the kingdom. And still at that time, she did not know how much favor she had. She went to the king 4 times and said, if you find me favorable, please save me. Spare my life. But I need you to also go and spare the Jews. Please put a stop to the decree that Haman put out. Haman wants to kill the Jews. And the king never said, yes, go and do it. The king never said, yeah, go ahead and kill the Jews. He never said that. And so they're at this banquet, Queen Esther, Queen Xerxes, and Haman. They're at this banquet that Esther put on. And Esther said, basically, babe, your right-hand man is shiesty. He put out a decree for the Jews, and he's trying to kill them all. Basically, save them because they're also me. Save them because they're also me. that was her request. She petitioned the king to say, hey, go save them Jews. Stop the decree. But in the same breath, also save me because I'm a Jew too. That was magnificent. When I first read the book of Esther, I didn't know what it was my bishop was asking me to gain from this book. I didn't understand it because he said, Tiff, hey, go read, the book of Esther, and when you're done, I want you to write about it. And I said, okay, I'm gonna go do that. I read the book of Esther, and I'm like, okay, what am I supposed to get from this? I done read the book, and I don't get it. But as soon as I let my reading marinate and my study time marinate in my spirit, I was riding in the car with my sister, my brother. We were coming back from getting food, and the Holy Spirit said, the Modern Day Esther. And when I say I got home and I told my parents, and I chuckled, because for 2 days, y'all, I tried to figure out why he wanted me to read the book of Esther. Then after reading the book of Esther, if you all could have seen how I was literally mind boggled about this book. I said, I don't get it, okay? She was graced to go to the king 4 times. All right, great. What else? But that was it. She was graced for something. God gave her a charge, and sometimes you don't have to disclose the details of the charge. She did not disclose that she was a Jew until she petitioned the king to say, hey, go save the Jews. But when you saving the Jews, you also saving your wife. That's what that is the favor that she had. She was able to go to the king 4 times without being summoned. That's favor, because had she not had favor and she had tried to petition the king 4 times, the first time she would have been dead. The first time. So you're graced for something that many had but couldn't do. Sis, you're graced for something that many have but cannot complete or accomplish. We are graced. All of us are graced with a charge. We're graced. We are favored for something. In this season, in quarantine, we are favored for something. We are favored to reach, a nation of people. We are favored for business. We are favored for education. We are favored for politics. We are favored for so many things in this season. Modern day Esther. We are modern day Esthers, where we are graced and favored to be able to accomplish something, because it is not for us, it's for the people that are connected. Oh God, it is for the people that are connected to your favor. It is the people that are connected to your favor. It is not you. You, yes, have been favored for it, but God is using the favor within you to be able to reach the people that is connected to it. So what are you favored for? I want you to go to crowned.girl.com, and I want you to go to the blog suite and read the latest blog. What are you favored for? What are you favored for in this season, sis? It's got to be something. It's got to be something. It's got to be something that God has given you, and you're just thinking about it on a surface level. I'm not saying dig deep. I'm not saying try to create this whole big thing about something. No, I want you to really look at your life. Look at all the things that you have been through, that you made it out of, and find out what have you been favored for. Because we're all favored for something. You, yes, you are favored for something. I want you to go and find what is it you've been favored for. Because it got to be something. Don't ever feel like a particular space is oversaturated with something or people. Because God favored you to be able to reach a specific type of people with what you're favored for. You could be favored for business. And your business being able to reach those that are not Christians. Crowned girl is favored to be able to touch and reach those girls who forgot they had a crown on their head in the first place. This space is not just for me to figure out what I'm favored for. It's also for you. And I want you to find that thing because I'm here for you. It's me and you. We can work it out. What are you favored for? What have you been doing? What has God given you? God gave me a word weeks ago. And he said intentional work. When people become intentional about the work that I have given them, they will see how intentional I will be and have always been about them. God is intentional about you, sis. He's favored you for something. He's just waiting for you to open your eyes and see it. My sister, she's favored for education. My brother, he's favored to be an engineer. He's favored for, like, he got it. My parents are favored to be pastors. Me, I'm favored to do this. I'm favored to bring you along the journey of the modern day Esther. So, what are you favored for? Bye, girls. Love you.
It's crowned girl time.